All right, let's talk about the first half of 2025. It was supposed to go one way, but as we just saw from corporate earnings, the real story is a whole lot more interesting. Today, we're digging into the numbers to see what's really going on.
So remember back after the first quarter, everyone had their predictions locked in. But now that Q2 earnings are out, we can finally see what actually happened. Which trends caught fire, which ones kind of fizzled out, and what new challenges are popping up. Let's get into it.
Okay, here's how we're going to break this all down. We'll start with the AI spending spree. Then we'll look at the consumer, which is a real mixed bag. After that, a total game changer in healthcare, and then the one big question on every CEO's mind, tariffs. And finally, we'll put it all together to see what the second half of the year might look like.
All right, first up, the biggest story out there, AI. If Q1 was the warm-up, Q2 confirmed it. This is a full-blown spending arms race.
So, Google just comes out and drops this number that made everyone's jaw hit the floor. $75 billion in capital spending for the year. Just to give you some context, that is a staggering amount of money, and almost all of it is going straight into the technical infrastructure, the servers, the data centers that powers this AI revolution. And you know, it's not just Google. Microsoft is right there with them, spending over $30 billion on their own AI infrastructure in just one quarter. They're calling it a response to strong demand signals, which is really just corporate speak for, we literally can't build this stuff fast enough.
And all that spending creates a huge bottleneck on the supply side. This quote from the CEO of TSMC, the company that makes the most advanced chips in the world, says it all. They can't keep up. Demand is so high that not only is their newest N3 chip capacity totally booked for years, but even the last generation, N5, is still incredibly tight. The demand is just absolutely off the charts.
And here's the kicker. This isn't just the tech giants buying up all the hardware anymore. Check out these numbers from Cisco. Their orders for AI gear from regular, big companies have blown past $1 billion for the year. This is a huge shift we saw in Q2. It means we're past the experiment phase. Real businesses are now building serious AI capabilities.
So, while the AI story is one of just pure acceleration, the story for the consumer, well, it's a lot more complicated. If Q1 hinted at a split, Q2's earnings reports really drew a sharp line in the sand. We've got clear winners and losers here.
I mean, just look at this contrast. On one side, you've got a value-focused place like Walmart, and their global e-commerce just exploded by 25%. People are clearly hunting for deals and convenience. But on the flip side, luxury brands like L'Oreal actually saw sales shrink in key markets like North Asia. It tells you that a lot of discretionary spending is really getting squeezed.
And you can actually see this same pattern playing out in China's banking sector. This data from ICBC, which is one of the world's biggest banks, shows a really clear shift. They're lending less to individuals and more to corporations. It kind of hints at a bigger economic strategy, one focused on building up businesses over boosting personal spending right now.
All right, now for a sector with a much clearer trend. If there was one story from Q1 that just went into overdrive in Q2, it's this one, the GLP-1 drug juggernaut. We're talking about a class of drugs that are just completely reshaping the entire pharmaceutical landscape.
The numbers here are just wild. Look at Novo Nordisk. Their overall obesity care sales shot up 47% in a year. And check out the shift. Sales of their new drug, Wegovy, jumped 64%, while their older drug just plummeted. The entire market is sprinting towards the newest, most effective treatments at an incredible speed.
And it's not a one-company show. Not at all. Their main rival, Eli Lilly, is riding the exact same wave. A 38% jump in revenue year over year. For a massive company like that, that kind of growth is it's almost unheard of. And it's all because of their GLP-1 drugs. This isn't just a hit product, it's a whole new paradigm for the industry.
Okay, but there's this one big cloud hanging over all these other trends. It's something that just kept coming up over and over again on earnings calls. If it was a small worry in Q1, by mid-year it became the #1 source of anxiety for pretty much everyone. Tariffs. This quote from Amazon's leadership really sums up what we heard across the board. There's just this profound uncertainty. Nobody knows what future trade policy is going to look like, which makes it incredibly difficult to plan anything, from inventory to pricing. Then you have companies like L'Oreal, who are taking a different approach. They aren't waiting around. They're convinced the impact is coming and it's going to get worse. So their whole strategy is about figuring out how to absorb those costs themselves. They're basically bracing for a financial hit.
And for a company like the drug maker AbbVie, this is a really critical point.
For them, just hiking up prices to pass the costs on to customers, they're saying that's just not an option. It's not viable. So that forces them to find the money somewhere else, likely by squeezing their own operations.
So what happens when you put all this together? You've got these incredibly powerful but kind of conflicting forces at work. What does that tell us about the second half of the year? Well, a few key things really stand out. So here it is, the big picture after the first 6 months. You've got this AI gold rush, with tech spending billions, limited only by the physical supply of chips. At the same time, the average consumer is getting more cautious, choosing value over luxury. And then you have this massive tariff wildcard just waiting to disrupt supply chains and drive up costs for everybody.
And all that leaves us with one final, huge question as we look ahead. You've got two massive, opposing forces, a powerful technological tailwind from AI pushing everything forward, and a significant economic headwind from tariffs threatening to slow everything down. So which one is going to win? Will the AI boom be strong enough to power through the drag? That is the story to watch for the rest of 2025.